tsunami of web browser games, Counter-Strike market crash, and rogue games that want to pickpocket your crypto. Sure, I mention Xbox and Microsoft again because they like being in the news, but I can't escape the nightmare called web browser games, because there's so many of them, and half of them look like they were designed by a squirrel on a sugar rush with a copy of a 1998 Microsoft Paint. I tried to play some of them, and my PC now has more trauma than a Dark Souls character. But maybe you're a gamer who spends more time staring at spreadsheets than actually playing games. If that's the case, you've probably heard about Counter-Strike market crash, because what Valve did to the skin traders is the equivalent of the Federal Reserve announcing they were going to start printing money on toilet paper. Okay, it's nothing like that, but you know I like drama, so if you like your thing spicy, don't press the skip button. This is not a report, this is your game loop. I've risked my own browser's sanity to bring you this exclusive report that could be more terrifying than finding a live bug in your food. So listen carefully. 15,000 new web browser games dropped in the first 6 months of this year, and there are almost 5 times more web browser games in 2025 than in 2023. That's more garbage than you'll find on my dating app profile. 2025 spawned one web browser game for every NFT bro who swore he was building the metaverse in 2022. Who are these modern day video game alchemists sloshing so much JavaScript that makes Firefox groan like an old man trying to get off the toilet? They're your barista, your dentist, and your Uber driver who learned to code in 5 minutes on TikTok. Suddenly, everyone and their emotional support goldfish is a vibe coder that turned their ideas into web games, with 87% of their HTML being a spaghetti code and 13% being unresolved trauma. But don't you dare calling me toxic. I tried to run Idle Fish Tycoon before pop-up windows started to reproduce faster than the Duggars, and now I got the nightmares. Wait, are you still here? My browser just froze trying to launch an ad for penis enhancement NFT, and no, I did not click on it. Oh good, my screen is back just in time for another wacky story, and it's making Lehman Brothers taking notes in hell. You must know by now that I've heard of the dot-com bubble burst, I've lived through the housing market crash, and I've witnessed an unemployed country girl selling millions of worthless NFTs because she spits on that thing. But I've never seen a video game update that caused the Wall Street sharks blush with jealousy, because it caused over billions in market value vanish faster than my teammates after I planted the bomb. And that's exactly what happened to Counter-Strike 2 when Valve dropped a patch that allows little teamies to have a shot at a knife that doesn't look like it was found in a dumpster. On the other side, the skin peddlers are in a meltdown, not only because a knife with a cool pattern is now worth roughly the same as a half-eaten bag of Cheetos, but because Kevin from Nebraska, who still lives with his mom, finally realized he's not Gordon Gekko, and now he needs the therapy. I wanted to suggest my shrink, but he's still dealing with me after I pre-ordered Starfield. Hollywood screenwriters are probably finishing the second act as of right now. It's called Margin Call Global Offensive, with a scruffy, sleep-deprived Shia LaBeouf as a crypto bro turned CS2 skin trader who bought a $30,000 knife from a Bulgarian 14-year-old before this crash. But don't ask me how it ends, because it gets kind of messy. But yelling at a 12-year-old for not pushing B is not the only time you can lose money playing video games. Remember the days when the biggest threat from a game was somebody cursing at you in Russian? We used to worry about lag, microtransactions, and broken controllers after throwing a fit in Call of Duty. Now we gotta worry about our favorite indie darling emptying our wallets faster than a speedrunner finishing Elden Ring, because that's exactly what happened to poor souls who downloaded Block Blasters, seemingly an innocent 2D platformer that turned out to be a virtual crowbar prying open your crypto wallet and making off with a cool $150,000. If you thought Block Blasters was a one-off glitch in the Matrix, guess again, because Steam is apparently turning into a minefield. Reports are flying that earlier this year, more games nested malware eggs, potentially turning your PCs into a personal ATM for bad actors. Listen, Steam is great, but you must know that any schmuck with $100 and a Unity tutorial can publish a game. But don't you dare to point finger at me and say that it's free and requires no talent to become a YouTuber. Anyway, if you love games, make sure your firewall's got more armor than a final boss, or the entire world might know about your foot fetish. But market crash and theft are not the only two things that rile up the gaming forums. Microsoft and Xbox keep proving they can do the same thing with their actions and their statements. While only Future can put the stamp of approval on current events, it's safe to say that Xbox president Sarah Bond recently dropped a bomb that detonated with all the force of a wet noodle hitting a sink. No, she did not call NFT games a love letter to humanity yet, but she declared the idea of exclusivity antiquated. Halo, Gears of War, Forza, all at one point exclusive to Xbox, helped the green machine dominate the gaming landscape back when MySpace was spanking Facebook, while the parent company Microsoft spent the last decade hoarding game studios like a dragon with trust issues. So what happened? Did Microsoft have a spiritual awakening during a recent team building retreat? This enlightenment disappointment from the ivory towers of Xbox has set the gaming forums ablaze, and the gamers responded with a fury of a Reddit mod on amphetamines. While Nintendo is printing money with their golden plumber and an elf with a sword, Xbox's exclusive game lineup has had more flops than Jared Leto. Remember Redfall? Your shrink does, because he's sick of hearing you complain about it. This was your Game Loop. Thanks for watching.